Hey, I hope you guys are doing good today. We are going to be watching some TierZoo, and we are going to be watching our Mongooses OP. I don't know if I really know anything about Mongooses, so I think this will be kind of a good one. If you do get a chance, I'd appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch, and I will have TierZoo's video linked in my description below, so be sure to go and give him a follow. But all right, let's see if Mongooses are OP. Oh my gosh. Damn. Just smacking them all around like that. Okay, okay.
Cats and dogs are both some of the most overpowered builds in the entire game. But in order to reach that level of success, their player bases needed to try out a ton of different strategies. Both caniforms and feliforms have a powerful solitary tank buster on their roster. They both have mid-sized scavengers on their roster. And perhaps most interestingly, both developed slender generalist builds with an emphasis on digging and brash intimidation. On the caniform side, we have the
Oh my god, these are so cute though. Oh, they are so cute. Oh, I love them. Adorable.
builds with an emphasis on digging and brash intimidation. On the caniform side, we have the mustelids, builds like weasels, ferrets, and honey badgers. And on the feliform side, we have the mongoose. Despite being
Why, why do we have dramatic music for them? Are they really like that? Are they really aggressive? I don't think I really know anything about mongooses.
ferrets, and honey badgers. And on the feliform side, we have the mongoose. Despite being a close relative of cats and sharing a lot of abilities with them, they also have a lot of unique traits that set them apart from every other predator build in the game. So are they actually better than their more traditional feline counterparts?
Oh,
or
wow.
are their special abilities just gimmicky jank?
Oh,
Today,
oh.
we'll discuss. We'll begin, as
Mongooses
always,
OP.
with a look at the Mongoose's base stats. Starting off with the Mongoose's intelligence. Mongooses have an intelligence similar to that of a rat, which is to say they're quite clever. Mongooses are
okay.
generalists and need to be
So they are little smarty pants. I love when animals are smart. I don't know. I just find that like really cool about them.
able to think on their feet in a variety of situations in order to succeed. But their best usage of intelligence is in coordinated team tactics. Team tactics are a rarity in the feliform faction of the mammal player base. But among the small pool of social
Aww.
feliforms, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more tactical bunch. The most obvious example is the meerkat, which is a type of mongoose that specializes specifically in being extra well adapted to work together. But most mongooses are, at the very least, gregarious, and because mongooses are much more vulnerable than builds like the lion or wolf, they need to work together both in order to succeed in hunting and to watch each other's
Was that a scorpion? Is that what just came out of there? Or
lion or wolf.
they were grabbing it?
They need to work together both in order.
They were trying to eat it? Do they eat them? Is that like a thing? I don't know. Oh my.
Mongooses are much more vulnerable than builds like the lion or wolf. They need to work together both in order to succeed in hunting and to watch each other's backs and protect each other. Their power stat is pretty mid for a carnivorous mammal, to be honest. Unlike most members of the feliform faction, mongooses do not have retractable claws.
Oh, so they're just out all the time. I wonder if that causes issues for them. Is that like a debuff?
Unlike most members of the feliform faction, mongooses do not have retractable claws. They use their claws primarily for digging, which works quite well, but of course inevitably dulls their claws and makes them less useful for dealing damage. As a result, mongooses have to rely solely on their bite force to inflict damage, which is unfortunately nothing special.
My
Still,
God.
it's enough to get the job done against low HP targets,
Oh,
which is
wow.
really all you need as a mid-sized social predator.
Those is just like they have strength in numbers too. So they have like a really good bite and you have to deal with a lot of them.
Get the job done against low HP targets, which is really all you need as a mid-sized social predator. It just means that they can't really threaten an attacking player, and need to cede territory whenever pressured.
Oh,
Now,
bonk. Wow.
can't really threaten an attacking player, and need to cede territory whenever
Bonk.
pressured. Now, due to the mongoose's slender shape,
Aw.
you might assume that similar to honey badgers, stoats, and ferrets, the mongoose sports thick, loose skin that allows it to take reduced damage and avoid critical
God.
hits. Unfortunately, mongooses do not have this perk. and need to play a much less reckless game than honey badgers in the face of danger. This lack of thick,
Honey badgers are so wild. I like them, but they're so crazy.
play a much less reckless game than honey badgers in the face of danger. This lack of thick, loose skin also makes them less resistant to cold damage, forcing them to stick to servers where ice damage isn't a threat. One unique defensive trait they do have, however, is total resistance to venom. Their blood
Oh, I didn't know that about them, that they're totally resistant to venom. That's impressive. That's way cool.
unique defensive trait they do
That'll probably be really handy for the hard lives that all wild animals have.
have, however, is total resistance to venom. Their blood neutralizes most toxins, rendering them almost completely harmless towards the mongoose.
Wow.
This is the main reason their matchup against snakes and scorpions is so oppressive. The mongoose's mobility stat is also fairly mid for a feliform. While certainly quite nimble and agile, its actual run speed is below average for a mammal. Even discounting the cheetah as an outlier, most cats have a movement speed that is well above average.
Let's see. Okay, so like your basic house cat is only 30, and they're at 20. So yeah, I guess they aren't quite up there in the speed.
And are excellent climbers. The mongoose can still move much quicker than any reptile it might encounter, but compared to mammalian predators it might face, it is a bit slow. Its slender body and shorter legs do not offer any benefits for speed. Instead, this shape allows mongooses to remain low to the ground, taking advantage of cover more easily and also enabling it to access the tight spaces and burrows that its main threats cannot follow them into. Other than their short stature,
Well, that actually probably works out better for them, since they don't really excel in the other categories. So, you gotta work with what you got.
and burrows that its main threats cannot follow them into. Other than their short stature, mongooses don't really have any major stealth-based abilities that they use, so their stealth stat is only average as well. Perception-wise, the mongoose is truly one of the most unique builds in the game. If you watched my last video, you'll remember that I spoke at length how important the house cat's snake-like vertical slit pupil is for ensuring high accuracy on its attacks, which enables the cat to parry and counterattack incredibly effectively.
Oh yeah, right.
Even if they don't have vertical slit pupils, most predators will at least have circular pupils that will allow for optimal forward binocular vision. Mongooses have horizontal pupils.
Oh my god, they do.
Horizontal pupils do not enhance depth perception and attack accuracy.
Like, don't some goats have horizontal ones or vertical ones too, right?
Pupils. Horizontal pupils do not enhance depth perception and attack accuracy. Instead, the purpose of a horizontal pupil is to broaden the player's field of view, making it easier to detect incoming attacks from the side or from behind. In addition to this unconventional eye structure, mongooses also have an excellent sense of smell and hearing. So how well do these stats and abilities synergize with each other? Honestly, it's a pretty mixed bag. Because the mongoose's stats are generally a bit on the low side, they're not able to outrun or repel attackers. Instead, they have to rely on their digging ability for safety. This greatly limits the potential territory they can explore, as if they get too far from their burrows, it's unlikely they'd be able to escape an ambush. It also means that any player with the ability to pursue them into their burrow completely negates their main line of defense.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like it's like a good idea, but it's our only idea.
The mongoose's eyesight is truly a confounding inclusion in an otherwise fairly standard mesopredator game plan. Now, credit where it's due, the horizontal pupils do offer some extra benefits that synergize.
Gosh, they are awfully cute though. Oh my goodness. They are adorable.
Now, credit where it's due, the horizontal pupils do offer some extra benefits that synergize well with the mongoose's game plan. They offer a slight perception bonus in bright sunlight conditions compared to vertical or round pupils. Because mongooses are diurnal, in direct sunlight, the tan dirt of the African savanna could impede their vision if they didn't have a way to mitigate it. But ultimately, plenty of savanna builds make do without this, so I have to assume the real purpose of this ability is the expanded field of view, which primarily aids in avoiding ambushes. This reflects a higher than normal vulnerability to attacks from predators, which I consider the mark of a less than excellent build if I were to stop things here. But I do think this does have one more important synergy for the mongoose's playstyle. The expanded field of view allows the mongoose to more easily keep track of where its teammates are, improving its ability to coordinate with the movements of other mongooses. This is reflected
They run so funny. I do love this though.
improving its ability to coordinate with the movements of other mongooses. This is reflected in its exceptional unity and fluidity at which the mongoose teams function.
They do seem like they flow as groups really, really well. So that's actually really impressive. I think that that's kind of fascinating to see that they can like I mean some of these groups look like they're kind of big. So the fact that they can flow this well with so many, I mean you can't even get people to do this. Like move this well.
While plenty of other builds engage in team strategies, mongooses are unique in how tight a formation they're able to hold to. This is surprisingly useful for intimidation, as when the mongoose band moves in such tight formation, they appear as
Look at
just one
that.
mass.
Look at that. Oh, see, like that's impressive.
As when the mongoose
Let's see
band
what I
moves in such
pause
tight
it. This is impressive. I think this is way cool. This is way cool about them.
formation,
I
they
like
appear
this.
as just one mass, which can easily confuse and startle large predators long enough to make an escape. So, how does the mongoose fare in its most important matchups? Even deciding which matchups to include was difficult given how widespread the mongoose player base is. But I'll keep things broad enough that it should be applicable to mongoose mains everywhere. Mongooses famously have an overwhelmingly positive matchup against
damn.
snakes due to their venom immunity. This is more important than it first seems. Obviously, it's good to be able to score easy kills and feed the troop, but
Yeah.
snakes are also normally the biggest threat to burrowing builds.
The troll cave. Oh, yes. I have been in the troll cave before too. Yup. I actually haven't played that game in a while. I should.
And feed the troop. But snakes are also normally the biggest threat to burrowing builds, as they can easily slither into tight spaces and wreak havoc.
Oh, wow.
Burrowing builds that don't possess venom immunity, like prairie dogs, have huge difficulty dealing with snakes. So being
Oh, God. Oh, man. I guess snakes are just getting prairie dog snacks left and right, probably.
possess venom immunity, like prairie dogs, have huge difficulty dealing with snakes. So being able to turn this vulnerability into a strength plays hugely in the mongoose's favor.
Yes, that's
Against
true.
larger predators, mongooses do struggle. They're the main reason they need to remain close enough to their burrows and party members, as without them to aid in escaping attacks, they cannot defend themselves. So against big cats, dogs, hyenas, and the like, the mongoose player needs to take advantage of all of its outs, and work with its teammates to avoid disaster. Skilled players can hold their own in this matchup, but mistakes will be punished hard. Warthogs are one of the most surprising encounters a mongoose can have. Rather than
Are they buddies? Is this what we're seeing here? Oh, I love this. It's like Timon and Pumbaa.
punished hard, warthogs are one of the most surprising encounters a mongoose can have. Rather than being adversarial, warthog and mongoose players often form temporary alliances. The mongoose team will cleanse the warthog player of all parasite debuffs, and in return, well, the warthog won't really deliberately do anything to help out a mongoose, but simply by tolerating them in close proximity, the warthog is protecting them. Because they're extremely dangerous and normally very territorial, mongooses are much safer when warthogs are nearby, and can venture further from their burrows so long as they remain within line of sight of a warthog. Birds of prey are one of the most dangerous.
I love that. I love when animals are, like you have like those like unconventional friendships that some of the animals have together. I just love that.
In their burrows so long as they remain within line of sight of a warthog. Birds of prey are one of the most dangerous matchups for mongooses. Because their perception stat tends to be extremely high, they will often target you before you spotted them, leaving very little time to prepare defense or escape. However, because their power stat tends to be a bit lower,
Oh my
often
gosh.
there is a bit of time between the initial strike and the actual kill, meaning that if your team can rally quick enough, they may actually be able to save you from an attack. So once again, while technically quite a difficult matchup, skilled players with reliable teammates should be able to hold their own. Drawing comparisons to similarly sized solo builds like the Weasel and Ferret, their matchup against an avian attacker is a lot more hopeless. This is essentially the story of the mongoose. Overall, it has an unimpressive set of stats and abilities, but because the abilities it does have are primarily focused on enabling team strategies, a troop of skilled mongoose mains can often be far more successful than you would expect from such an underwhelming build.
Actually, I hadn't even thought about that or thought of it even in that kind of way. I would think that like anything that flies probably would have quite the advantage on them, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
can often be far more successful than you would expect from such an underwhelming build. Overall, I'm gonna have to give the Mongoose
Little
a mid-tier
cuties.
rating. It has no severe flaws holding it back, but imagine how overpowered a clan of Mongoose players would be if it actually had any busted abilities.
So true. Or what if they came in like bigger armies? Like they travel in like packs of 50 or something crazy.
Like with the Mongoose, when a group of individuals functions as one
Oh,
unified, cohesive team, it can look pretty impressive and can be a spectacle to
yeah.
watch. However, one thing that may be even more fun to watch is when one player on a team is trying to subtly
Oh
sabotage
my
the group's
gosh.
efforts. I was recently on a hilarious game show with this exact premise. I know it's weird to think of me as a filthy try-hard human main rather
Is
than
that him? Aw,
a game show with this exact premise. I know it's weird to
look at him. Aw. He looks like he's a nice guy.
think of me as a filthy try-hard human main rather than an omniscient disembodied voice, but it's true, I do exist in corporeal form. The incredibly talented team at Wendover Productions and Jetlag the Game invited me to be a part of a game show that they were making. What they told me was that a group of creators, including myself, were going to be tasked with completing a bunch of wacky challenges, and that my job was to play the snitch, the saboteur who would try and subtly mess up to prevent the group from succeeding. What they didn't tell me
Oh.
was that they told everyone else the exact same thing.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. He looks like he's so sweet.
As you can imagine, this resulted in one of the funniest, most chaotic shows in existence, and I seriously could not be more proud to have been a part of it. We truly made something awesome, and you absolutely have to check it out. It's called The Getaway, and it's streaming exclusively on Nebula,
Getaway.
the sponsor of this video. Nebula, if you haven't heard, is the creator-owned streaming platform with no ads, no algorithm, no clickbait, and phenomenal content. Home to a huge library of high-budget original videos, including our show The Getaway, but also tons of other cool things like my Let's Play Outside series, Real Life Lore's Modern Conflict series, this awesome deep-sea exploration documentary The Raising of the Titanic, and a fun bushcrafting series called Archaeology Quest. I also publish all of my videos there early, so if you want to watch me try and BS my way through a bunch of wacky challenges, and want to keep up to date on all of my videos, and want access to a ton of other amazing content on top of all of that, you can subscribe to Nebula by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking the link in the description. If you sign up for an annual membership, Nebula is only $3 a month, truly one of the best deals in streaming. So please go check out The Getaway only on Nebula. Thanks again to Nebula for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.
Aw. Oh my gosh. I thought this video was really good. I really enjoyed this. I realized that I really don't know anything about mongooses other than they are super cute, and I guess they're not super high up on the tier list, but they're not totally useless, so that's good. That's definitely good. But this is a great video as always. Be sure to go and like and subscribe to TierZoo because I really, really enjoy these. I just love the video game aspect of it and how he applies all that knowledge to animals. It's cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys being here. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and just being here, and we reached 700 subscribers, and that's huge. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun making these videos and meeting so many people all over the world and everybody's experiences and recommendations and just everything. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.